Hello, my name is Timothy Patrick McCarthy. I'm a historian of human rights and social movements who has been teaching on the faculty at Harvard University for 25 years. It is an honor for me to be with you today to offer a few remarks in support of marriage equality in the Czech Republic. My first point is about equality. At their core, human rights are about freedom, dignity, and equality. These values, fundamental but also aspirational, are at the core of this debate about whether same-sex people are free to marry so that their relationships have equal dignity and protection under the law and in the broader society. Article 16 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states clearly that we all are, quote, entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. End quote. It speaks of the, quote, free and full consent of the intending spouses, end quote, and of the family as, quote, the natural and fundamental unit of society entitled to protection by society and the state. It does not define marriage as between a man and a woman, or only that. And when it comes to marriage, it does not include different kinds of partnerships for different kinds of people. Marriage is a right that all people have and deserve equally. A separate category with fewer rights for LGBTQ people is discrimination, not equality. My second point is about family. Family values and Save the Children are two of the most powerful rallying cries of the global anti-LGBTQ movement. This opposition is rooted in an ancient myth, also a persistent and pernicious prejudice, that people like us pose a threat to marriage, family, and children. Like all bigotry, this opposition is built on a bedrock of lies. Take my own family as but one example. I am the adopted only child of an extraordinary mother and father. This means that I was born to biological parents who gave me up shortly after my birth, and I was adopted by a man and a woman who could not have a biological child of their own. My parents happened to be straight, and I happened to be gay. I have also raised a child who I did not bring into this world, a boy named Malcolm, who is now a grown man. He happens to be straight. When I became his legal guardian, however, there was some concern that my being gay made me an unfit parent, or worse. Mind you, these concerns did not come from anyone who actually knew our family. Without boring you with all the details, suffice it to say that my parents did not make me straight, and I did not make Malcolm gay. We are simply a chosen family, people from different genders, sexualities, races, and classes who have made a loving home together across 3 generations. I have been married to my husband for 12 years, and our growing family, freely chosen and full of love, marches on. At this point in history, we know this truth to be so evident. Children are happiest and healthiest when families are accepting and affirming. And this goes for classrooms and communities and countries as well. Because marriage equality has a longer history here in the United States, we now have strong and growing research that shows that same-sex couples are more likely to adopt and less likely to divorce, and that children raised by LGBTQ parents actually outpace their peers on a range of metrics, from higher grades and graduation rates to better mental and physical health outcomes. My third and final point today is about history. I'm a historian, and historians study change over time. Nothing stays the same forever, and that includes institutions and ideas. I'll admit this can sometimes be scary, but it is also our reality. As we know from the work of historians like Nancy Cott, George Chauncey, and others, marriage itself has looked different at different points in time, including our own. Ideas about equality, as well as freedom and rights, have their own histories involving expansion exclusion, and transformation. Take the shifts in public opinion on marriage equality that have taken place over the last 2 decades. In the United States alone, there has been a complete flip from nearly 70% opposed a generation ago to nearly 70% in favor today. What caused this pendulum swing? In large part, the fight for and legalization of marriage equality. But LGBTQ advocates did not wait for the majority to get on board to make our case. Human rights should not be defined by democratic vote or demographic size. And yet equality for minorities is too often determined by the will of the majority. Interestingly, though, public support for marriage equality in the Czech Republic is as high or higher than it is in many of the 34 countries where it is currently legal, including the United States. This begs an important question. Why the delay? Equality should never have to wait for majority rule, but neither should it be held hostage by political opposition when the will of the people is clear. You have an opportunity before you and a choice to make that will determine how history views you, and the world awaits your decision. Thank you again for inviting me to be part of your deliberations today. Good luck.